The 2007 Netball World Championships were Laura Langman's first for New Zealand. Despite the end result being disappointing for her and her team, there was a special memory from that tournament for the Silver Fern Centre that she still holds dear.
I always remember Mary from Malawi. She had just skills that you just can't teach. She would shoot one-handed by aiming and closing one eye. I remember she did the pass of the tournament where she just bent down to get up and bounce pass and literally flicked it like past the inside hip, past the defender to the shooter who wasn't even prepared for it. She was just amazing and just like an athlete in a different dimension, and she was just amazing. So I have very, very fond memories of Malawi.
Mary Weah retired from the international game in 2010. After a short stint coaching Tanzania, she returned to the Malawi Queens as assistant coach, continuing an involvement with the national side that began over 30 years ago.
I started when I was young. So because I started when I was young, because that time I was 11, is when I come with the potential of starting to play netball. And this potential, it comes from my family, because my family is full of netballers and footballers. All my brothers were in the national team, and even my sister, one time we played together in the national team. So because I started when I was young, I wanted to impart the same talent to the youngsters, and as a country, I'm proud of my country. I want my country to excel. I want to see my country raising up from nothing to something. So as assistant coach, now, for the Malawi Queens, I want to take those kids that they are needy. They need this sport. They need to know this sport with the talent that I have to impart to them so that they can make Malawi to be on the map. And so the netball, even in Malawi, it can be built from grassroots and coming up, so that even the national team, we can have good players which they know the rules from the grassroots.
One Silver Fern who knows a thing or two about Malawi's grassroots is defender Liana de Bruin.
I actually remember we went over there as a students team and played there, and play on rough surfaces and showering with frogs. That was my memories of playing in Malawi. So definitely struggles for those girls. I mean, even just getting proper shoes to play with will be hard for them. I haven't obviously been there for a while, and heard that they get a little bit more sponsorship these days, but it will just be a drop in the bucket of what we get.
De Bruin was part of the Silver Fern side which played Malawi at the 2006 Commonwealth Games, a game remembered for one particularly long passage of play.
In Melbourne, we passed the 64 passes against New Zealand, and it was our plan when we were in the dressing room that when we play with New Zealand, we know that they are fast. We know that when they get the ball, they play fast to the goal circle. So we say that we want them not to beat us a lot of goals. So we say, okay, instead of them to beat us more goals, let's hold the ball. The ball have to be in our hands. Let's hold it for some minutes and we get a score. And when we have because netball is funny, because each and every team have got their own center pass. You can use your center pass whatever you want. If you want to hold the ball, if you want to throw the ball outside, you can use it the way you want. So for our center passes, we say, okay, fine, let's hold the ball so that we can minimize the time. Even we can minimize the scores that New Zealand used to beat us. That's why you see that game that they beat us, it was almost 18 baskets. We tried our best.
Malawi's best ever result was 5th at the 2007 World Champs, a memorable win against South Africa, clinching the spot and sending Weah and her team into now famous celebrations.
Sometimes, for me, like as Mary, it's the love of the game and to show how happy I am when I win the game. But if we adapt to the whole team, it's how happy we are that as Malawi, as a small country, we are capable of beating the teams that have got resources, the teams that have got everything, like courts, everything. But us, our resources, they are minimal. So, which means our netball is going forward. With our orthodox people, they say orthodox netball, which means when we beat those big teams, we say, look now, the small resources that we have, but we can do something big. That's why we celebrate in that way, that we roll on the court, sometimes we dance,
The Queens will look to be singing and dancing again soon, with their remaining time down under key to their future development.
We have to minimize the gap. We have to minimize, in either course, we have to minimize the gap. Because one time, I remember when we played with New Zealand only beat us with only 14 baskets. So now we want that gap to minimize it so that the New Zealand, they have to know that Malawi now is coming up. And one time and one day, we're going to be there.